Hello, my name is Pedro Lucas and I am with 45B. 45B is a consultancy business focused on blockchain and Web3 enablement for organizations that need to do the transition from their standard Web2 practices. Today, I am here to give you an introduction to crypto, blockchain, Web3, Cardano, and a bit about ourselves. I'm going to jump right into the presentation, and I hope you find it interesting. So the approach we are presenting here is what we call Crypto123 approach, where step one would be get off zero. So to actually play a bit with a small amount of crypto, you don't need registrations or a serious amount of money or investment. You just need to install one of these wallets. For example, this one is a Bitcoin wallet. These ones are Cardano wallets. And if you install it and have a friend send you $40, 10 euros worth of it, you can immediately start playing with it. It's not going to be very, very serious. One thing that you can also do is use testnets. So testnet, especially on Cardano, we actually take you through this experience of obtaining a few, like 10,000 ADA, which is the currency in Cardano, and going over what would be using the real thing. So get off zero is the first suggestion to exchange with friends. Maybe if you actually have actual Cardano, if you have possibility to start buying small amounts per month, that will be the best way to start. Don't complicate things and just try it. Okay. One thing that you can also do is browse Web3. We're going to speak a lot about what Web3 is, but collectibles here are an example of things that exist in Web3. They're NFTs, as we call them. Also, we run this course, Cardano for Non-Techs, and I'm just going to show you here. We have this Linktree address where you can come, you can join our meetings, which are happening every business day except Mondays currently. We have WhatsApp and Discord channels to onboard people. And you can see here the playlist of everything that's been going on with 2 cohorts in English and 1 cohort in Portuguese. We're also planning to start courses in other languages, namely Turkish, French. Let's see what we can develop here. But it's a pilot project that we have started. So coming back to the presentation, like I said, step one is take it for a spin. If we go to step 2, the title is Know About Regular Money. So you won't value crypto or the new financial system that crypto is trying to enable if you don't understand what the situation is with the current monetary system. So you might need to watch a documentary, be receptive to exploring these things a bit. Invest a bit of time is critical to understand them, obviously. Otherwise, you're just going to be in the same mindset of you don't know what good is, what the pros are with crypto, because you also don't know what the downside is with the traditional system. So you might want to understand the workings of terms like inflation, fractionary reserves, which is what the banks need to hold to create credits for you, to loan out money, that is. And a debt-based economy is something that's illustrated here, where government needs to issue debt continuously, perpetually, to keep funding the economy. So this is just what it is. We just encourage you to know a bit more about it. And then the third step is to see where crypto is at today. So the focus here is don't just think up in your mind what your opinion is. If someone describes it to you, try to take a look at things hands-on. Or, for example, here there's a chart of what Bitcoin has been doing, the Bitcoin's price has been doing for the past 10 years, over 10 years, and to just take a journey through this chart and see, keep in mind that this is 10 times larger every time you go one little piece of the scale. And so, for example, here you see that we're huge raises from $1 all the way to $1,000. Then it stabilized on 200 down here, and it was going around between getting the first time to 1,000, where it was coming from one, and then going past that, it took 4 years. So this is something that you don't need to run into it, to race into it. That is, you just can explore it and see it from the big picture. I have a lot of links here, and I'm going to leave you with the link to this presentation document. So I encourage you to explore these a bit. So the other topics we have here are: how big are the current crypto funds created in traditional stock exchange? Although you may think this is something that is just happening online with technical people exchanging it, you actually have a lot of products that are being traded in the traditional stock exchange that are completely based on cryptocurrencies. It's not the pure one, it's crypto funds and etc., but they are being traded on stock exchange. And there are also a number of companies that have that are public companies listed, and they also have a lot of investments in crypto, and you can see those tables here. So in overall, this is the crypto, what we call Crypto123 approach. If you try a bit of these three things, then probably it will start to open your appetite a bit for crypto. At least you will get to see it with a different pair of eyes. Okay. Now, transitioning a bit further down, we also have this chart here, or this table that we wanted to show, where we are contrasting Bitcoin and fiat currencies, so dollars and euros, like if they were different versions. They are. That's the statement here, that they are different versions of money. And if we go back before fiat, people were exchanging gold, and before that even just commodities, goods that were being exchanged by people. Also, if we go forward, we can say that Bitcoin is generation 1 of cryptocurrencies. Then we had Ethereum, which is generation 2, where they added smart contracts, which means that money can be, the cryptocurrency can be used to program rules. That's what we are describing here as advanced use cases, where programmatically money flows according to certain things that may have happened, people that may have deposited some money to be loaned to the system, and some people that can take money out of it. And there's rules there. There's some chips or interest rates that are paid from the people that are lending their money and people that are borrowing. So that all is happening automatically, and that's what the generation 2 brought here. What happens with generation 3 is basically that here on Ethereum, the tokenomics was a bit, is still, they are creating currency and they're destroying currency at the same time, but you never really know how much currency there will ever be of Ethereum. Cardano derives that aspect from Bitcoin, where both Cardano and Bitcoin are limited, and there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin and 45 billion units of Cardano. So here you see that's why these are in green. It contrasts a lot with fiat currencies, which like we shown here, are considerably inflationary. So the dollar's purchase power has been going down forever, and you can see every time that there's something with the economy, they issue more debt and they create more dollar, and they devalue all the dollar that was already in existence. So that's something that with Bitcoin and Cardano is not going to happen, because it's a bit, like we say, rock solid. Like gold is fairly limited, but gold, the total amount of gold is still not defined. So gold is actually being discovered and devaluing the gold that is already in circulation. Bitcoin is still also being issued, but already has a set limit that will never go up. So those are the properties that we wanted to highlight here in terms of comparing crypto generations and crypto with fiat in overall. So you have this quadrant here, which is in blue, and this one here, which is the smart contracts and the programmability in Cardano. And even the way it stores balances is significantly different than Ethereum. And so it provides more security, and we believe that it will be a lot more stable in the future. So it will stand the test of time a bit more, a lot more, I mean. Now, focusing on Web3, which is something that we mentioned up there in terms of take on step one, take it for a spin, take crypto for a spin. What is Web3? This is one of the most simple ways of presenting it. In Web1, we just read things from the internet. In Web 2, we began to be able to publish our content and write and read things to the internet, but these organizations own everything that we upload in there. In Web 3, we will be able to, or we are already able to write, read, and own the assets. So although we are publishing content into these blockchains, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano for us are the main ones in terms of Web3. Bitcoin is more of just an asset that you can buy and hold or invest on it long term, a bit like gold. So here, the big difference is that you don't lose ownership of your contents, whether it's an asset that you hold like Ethereum or Cardano, or some material that you published to a Web3 social network, or an NFT, for example, that you created. The fact that you took your picture, your original art, and try to preserve it on the blockchain as an NFT. The NFT may even be traded. If you're an author, for example, of a book, it may be traded on the blockchain, but you're always going to be identified as the owner or as the author. In that case, the author can always receive royalties for the art being exchanged on specific platforms. So this is Web3 in a nutshell. Web3 gives people property rights, the ability to own a piece of the internet, where here we were just publishing things and the platforms owned it. Here, we preserve that bond to what we created. So this is going to change a lot the dynamics of value, where in Web 2, value was not so shared, where you see the investors that created Facebook and everything get a lot more value out of it, and the people that build it, than the creators and the users. So users don't get much value out of it. In Web3, value through tokenomics, which is tokens are like cryptocurrencies. They are guest coins. Instead of being coins, we call them tokens in a specific blockchain. So due to implementing flow of tokens between investors, builders, creators, and users, the value share in Web3 is completely different. Now, Web3 empowers, if we look at the purple one, which is representing Web3 here, Web3 empowers a collective owned future over a corporate approach, which would be this color here, or a government owned future, which would be extremely centralized. Also, in terms of architecture, here we have Web3 it being more resilient, because it's more decentralized than the corporate approach, where there are single points of failure. So this could be your Google or those types of data centers. Okay, so this brings us a bit to the notion of what blockchain is. And here you have some core elements or properties of blockchain. The main one being that it is immutable. And here you have the tokenization of assets, so real objects or real property may be represented in the shape of a token, and therefore we are exchanging that token as an ownership title to a certain object. Decentralization we've covered. Encryption comes from the crypto name, and is the logic that allows us to preserve this in a fail-proof way, and distribution, which we've also seen there. So these elements of a blockchain create a solution not just for crypto assets or something like that, but for information to be flown to flow and to be processed and automated in all these lines of businesses. So you can see here telecom, energy, financial services, obviously, like I was explaining with loaning and borrowing of assets, document verification, proof of ownership, like I was explaining just now. So Web3 is not just crypto. Web3, even if crypto was not representing that you sold euros or dollars for a certain amount of Cardano, blockchain and Web3 can flow a lot of information and automate a lot of things. Okay, that's why 45B and a number of companies on the IT sector are coming here to enable these organizations to achieve their potential on this. So this is the upgrading from Web 2 to Web 3 section. And still elaborating a bit more, I'm not going to read through all of this. And also I want to point out that up here you have a link for the full presentation about upgrading from Web 2 to Web 3. And I encourage you to take a look at that full presentation if you want to hear a bit more about these use cases. But in short, we have the digital ownerships that are going to be we are going to be able to use on different solutions, whether more formal or more informal. Social tokens, for example, for football clubs, allow specific communities to create their own token, their own currency, and supporters to hold, buy, sell, trade that currency. So I think we're going to see a lot of fragmentation of value. Instead of people just investing in the traditional assets, people are going to start to be able to invest in their football club by buying a bit of their assets. Also, we have the metaverse and different ways that people are going to communicate on more augmented reality or virtual reality environments. Times Square is being shown here, and you have the link for this in the documentary that I was mentioning is linked above. DAOs are going to change the way organizations work, because based on all of this type of flow of information, people find new ways of organizing and being productive and giving value to society, getting value back from society, and flowing it between themselves. So it will change a lot the concept of traditional enterprises. Here we have some more technical picks and shovels solutions or blockchains that allow the other ones to flow. So there's not just one blockchain, as we've been seeing. I can speak about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and for all of these, there are some common threads. So for example, oracles allow us to bring real world information like the temperature or something like that into the blockchain, and that will inform smart contracts. For example, in insurance, you can have the amount of rain in a certain location to inform the decision about an insurance for a crop on agriculture or something. So this is why we need oracles and data storage solutions in blockchain. Also, we have the central bank digital currencies, which if you continue to ignore and make believe that cryptocurrencies don't exist, eventually you're going to be using the government currencies, which are digital. We wouldn't even say that they're cryptocurrencies because they are centralized and have different rules, but they possibly will work on blockchains similar to the open public blockchains. So speaking of public blockchains, we have Cardano, which is the pillar for 45B's activity. And I want to show you a bit what Cardano is doing in real life. So we have WADA, which is an organization unlocking the potential of Africa and diaspora. So if we look at what they are doing, they are involving tens or even hundreds of people in their initiatives, educating them about blockchain, financial literacy, creating infrastructure for people to be able to access the internet, and already creating dApps, which are decentralized applications, and DAOs, which are the decentralized organizations that I was mentioning just now. So also there is a big culture of, if you have funds, if you gathered funds, go and try to share them with others. So myself, 45B has been funded by other organizations in the Cardano space, and people organize in a very decentralized way, like I've been saying, and yeah, basically collaborate. So this is one organization that I wanted to show you, which is more on the social side, and they are branching out to, as you can see, several countries, and organizing a span of activities. So coming back to other examples of Cardano in real life, you have AXO, which is still not launched, but I wanted to show it to you because I think, like they say here, they will be setting a new standard for trading. So this is going to happen not on the traditional finance system, not on the centralized exchanges like Binance or others. It's going to happen purely on chain. So once you convert your fiat currency into Cardano, you don't need to go back to fiat, and you can do all your trading. You don't need a centralized exchange because this is happening everything on the blockchain. And they are promoting that it will have interfaces better than the traditional systems. They also advocate that it is, like I was saying, non-custodial, meaning it happens on the blockchain and your values are just cryptographically secured by the network, which is not centralized, not owned by one specific stakeholder that can change it. And therefore, it is a lot more safe because it doesn't have the single points of failure or corruption that we usually see. I invite you to take a look at the links. I'm not going to go very much in depth here, but there is the programmable swaps, which is an innovative product where they say financial institutions working in this will be able to do things that have never been possible, even in the traditional stock market and those types of environments. Okay, so this is AXO. I'm looking forward for it to be launched. Another thing that we have in Cardano, which is booming, if you can use that expression, is NFT markets. So this is literally called the JPEG store, where you're buying an image, but you're buying the title of ownership to that. There are some nuances on if you have property rights on the IP, on intellectual property, or not, and those will all usually be detailed in the maker of each NFT's website. So there are a lot of profile pictures around. It's ludic, it's not very serious, but there are also other collections that have creative art or creative coding development and functionalities to exchange references. For example, I can show you the Cardano Summit happened a few months ago, and they were issuing these badges for people that have attended in different cities. So for each city that you went and attended the event, you were able to get this crypto badge proving that you were there to hold as a souvenir. And this is one of the use cases of the NFT markets. Another thing that we have here, which has been very interesting, is digital books. So you can see, for example, Franz Kafka, The Metamorphosis, was edited by Book.io, and you can own different covers of it, different variations, where some of them are more rare than others, but the main thing is that you can also go to their website with your title of ownership of this copy of the book and read the book. Also, when you sell it, when you exchange it, the owner, the original author, I mean, is going to be receiving a royalty directly from the system with very, very, very little middleman, if any. So this is the NFT markets that are currently live on Cardano. And so this serves as a bit as introduction to, or an invitation for you to explore a bit more. Cardano is still evolving, and we believe that it will be the most technically sound for the future. Now, coming to 45B, 45B, the title is Cardano Enablement, and our mission is to bring adoption to Cardano and Web3. Our market approach will be to enable organizations to reach their potential in Web3. We facilitate the gathering and training of the right skill sets for Web3 projects, and we actually consult and actively managing the Web3 projects and products. So there's a typo there. So we are aimed at end users, small and medium businesses, artists and creators, Web2 development organizations, so companies that currently are only developing in Web2. We can work with them to educate them, to train them. Pardon. And Web3 communities, a bit like I've been showing, like WADA here, we can try to enable them to produce more projects in Cardano. This is our logo. It alludes to the issuance of 45 billion of ADA, which is the currency of Cardano that is ever going to exist. The maximum will stabilize at 45 billion. And that's what assures that your value is not going to be devalued by issuing more currency. So main person here is myself, some colleagues, some partners, where we are branching out and exchange and networking to create those capacities on different skill sets. I have over 2 decades of experience working in IT, and a substantial part of it was working in accountancy and banking and wealth management, namely in data visualization. So our services are, the pillars are going to be help you to learn, help you to manage, and help you to build solutions in Cardano. For the Learn initiative, I've already shown this one, where you can come as a technical, as a non-technical user and explore things. We are open on Zoom several days a week if you want to reach out informally. And we also are available to provide more formal training to our partners, corporations, and communities. So this one is one of the main pillars. And out of this one, we derive a bit the knowledge to help manage, to help organizations manage their crypto holdings, focusing a lot on ADA. We also planning to have the ability to help you work with Bitcoin a bit, because it's a lot more adopted currently. But I really believe, due to the use cases, that ADA is going to start taking more dominance in the future. So here we have concierge services and training on self-custody, which are basically helping the managers of a company, helping to find people in an organization that can take the responsibility of holding in custody their own crypto. So what I'm saying here is that usually organizations that are dependent on traditional banks, are dependent on having an account somewhere that can retrieve their password if they lose it or their access. Self-custody is about creating materials, resources, and fail-proof ways, so redundancies, where you have several copies distributed and no single one can activate the funds, moving the funds, but you can decide who can manage it or who can action it in specific circumstances. So this is a bit about self-custody and the concierge service, where we will be advising you day to day. Also, some practical skills. So we are not financial advisors, but we will help you to come through with the orders. For example, managing AXO. This is a financial product where you're going to be able to give a number of orders to manage your assets, and you need to be trained on this. And we are planning to have the best technical people to understand everything that's happening here and to advise you. Also trying to partner directly with Axo. So the typical use cases around ADA for a company or for people that have started learning on their personal level and want to include ADA in the balance sheet of their organization. Here we will be able to help you as well. And also we are partnering with tax advisors and accountants, legal partners that are going to be able to advise us and helping us to do this the right way. And also a very interesting use case, which is to take payments, donations for your business in ADA. Also for if you start having ADA flowing in your finances, you're going to need solutions to track it internally. And we are partnering with developers to create those solutions so that you have everything under control with clarity. Now, on the build side, we are focusing more on trying to find Web3 organizations or artists and creators. So on the artist side, we'll be able to help them create their first collection of NFTs, educate them with our knowledge from here, and help create a community on Discord, on social networks, create their website to present their collection. So basically onboarding them to Web3. We also have a strong skill set on product management and project management, and overseeing development services. And overall, we are going to be partnering with a number of organizations. I have a few of them right here to build solutions. And also we will be running our own stake pool in the near future. So turning to some of our current partnerships, we have them here. So Mesh are the creators of one of the best Web3 development toolkits on Cardano. And if we come to their website, with just a few lines of code, developers can start an application, and they have React components for you to modularly, let's say, build and configure whatever you may want to do. So there are there's a nuance on the front end where you have the React and all these controls, and there is more like the back end of the blockchain itself with smart contracts. And here Mesh also has skill sets on helping you to build smart contracts to flow whatever solutions you may want to build. And we are very proud to be partnering with them. Gimbal Labs are facilitating developer onboarding and upgrading, like I was using the expression before, from Web 2 to Web 3, upgrading their skill sets to delivering the front-end side and the back-end side of Web 3 Cardano solutions. So taking a quick look at them, they run this main course, which is the Plutus, which is a language for developing in Cardano. It's project-based, so it's hands-on and building real solutions. So they run this course, and it's always asynchronous or on live sessions on Zoom. It's always available. They also are very strong here on distributed infrastructure through the Dandelion solution, which allows, which allows a decentralized way of accessing the blockchain. So there is some technical concerns here around between the website and the actual blockchain. We need these kinds of softwares, and it's very important that these are as decentralized as the blockchain itself. So this was Gimbal Labs. We also partner with Little Fish Foundation, where they are a DAO in the making, and they help organizations find their purpose. They use the Ikigai concept, where you can find confluence of things that are valued by society, where you are good at, and what you can be paid for. And I'm liking what the third one is, but I really encourage you to get to see their link tree there and explore, get in touch, because a bit like the step one of the Crypto123, getting in contact with these people is going to help you a lot to understand what Web3 is. Also, we are partnering with the Web3 user group for they work on education and charity side of Web3. And if we take a look at the website, They are a registered association in Germany. They're very strict about doing things by the book, and they want to provide a digital environment in which people can learn and benefit of Web3. And yeah, they basically, the international part here is very strong on these communities. Once you start to act and to interact with them, it's yeah, you're eventually going to have friends all over the world if you come into this site. So this is what 45B has been doing, where we are finding the current and future members of 45B is in this type of environment that I'm just describing right now. So in overall, all these organizations have an extremely developed open source and collaborative culture. Now, like I said, we are recent. We are being formed now. We are gathering people to become members of 45B and to partner with us. And so if you are, or if you know of legal entities, accounting and tax, sales and marketing, whether for working, providing services, or sourcing us with talent on this front, training institutions, for example, we're trying to partner with a language exchange to give them Web3 and crypto literacy. Traditional Web2 development companies and organizations, Web3 entities like the Web3 user group, for example, that may need training or product management for their developments. We are looking for all these partners and hopefully people that want to join us more internally. And also, obviously, we are looking for our end users to learn about using and holding crypto, corporations that will potentially benefit from Web3. So here is something that I encourage you to just get in contact with us, because you may not be very aware, but for whatever line of business you are in, there is potential value that we can bring to your business if you adopt Web3 a bit more. So this is our email. Our website is still in the making as of today, but it will be it will be representing most of the contents that I was presenting here. So looking forward for your contact. I hope we can keep in touch and that you found this presentation useful. Speak soon.